Oh, they don't count it down anymore. Hey folks, what's going on? Welcome to Coach Gav Live, episode 34 with me, your host, Coach Gav from Kildare Strength and Fitness. Coming to you live today from my kitchen at home, just doing a few bits in between shifts. So, macros, right? Every second person you scroll through on Instagram seems to be yammering on about macros, and most fitness people you probably follow or hear from are probably bang on about it. Maybe every second post or every second word out of their mouth is macro this, macro that, macro the other. Macros is short for macronutrients, and macronutrients is the word given to describe the building blocks nutritionally for our body. Proteins, fats, and carbohydrates make up our macronutrients, okay? So knowing your macros is basically knowing how much of those macronutrients that you need to have on a daily basis in the right amounts based on your goals. And that last bit's super important. It's the amounts based on your goals. When your goals change, your amounts change, okay? Counting macronutrients is something that is extremely beneficial. Is it something I would prescribe long term? Not even remotely close. I don't think it's healthy from a habitual point of view, from the point of view of the relationship you create with food. I think it can drive people obsessive. I've seen it drive people obsessive, and it makes everything so rigid. You effectively become as flexible as a railroad track, and those bad boys aren't moving anywhere unless there's some kind of incredible force of power bending them out of shape. There has to be flexibility in your plan to allow you to still have something sweet, something savory, something you can indulge in that will keep the social side of your your diet or your lifestyle on track without you feeling like, Jesus, it's been weeks since I've had this, or I'll never have this ever again. And I just think I think I've seen it firsthand over the last 10 years coaching people pretty much full time, that you just see these habits where people, they start something so rigid, so strict, and they're living or dying by it, and then they have one small blip, a twitch, and all of a sudden they just throw the baby out with the bathwater, just say, well, fuck this, I'm not going to do it. And the worst thing is, they might have like a blip on like a Monday or a Tuesday, and they'll be like, oh, screw this. The blip ruins the rest of their day because they're beating themselves up. And then when they beat themselves up, they feel bad. So they want to feel good. And who doesn't want to feel good? So then we go have these comfort foods that we know, oh, well, when I eat this, I feel good. It gives me comfort. And I want to feel comfort. I don't like feeling uncomfort or discomfort. And then we go and eat these foods, and you're like, oh, well, shit, I've ruined today. Sure, it's Wednesday or whatever. Screw it, I'll just start on Monday. So you have a blip on Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, and then you say, screw it, I'll start next Monday. So you're going to throw away Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, all because you had one tiny blip. That's bullshit, absolute bullshit. And it just highlights how deep we need to go with people from a coaching and training perspective to help them overcome that perspective or overcome that issue as they go along. Now, you'll also see above that I want you to know your numbers, okay? So I know that it was penciled in for 2,112 calories a day to hit my goal of, basically, I'm looking to drop a little bit of body fat, a decent amount of body fat to drop my shape. That means I need to kind of recalibrate my macros, okay? I need to basically readjust the percentages of food I take in on a daily basis. Now, so 2,112. It's pretty handy, it works backwards. So 2,112 is my daily intake target, not including if I exercise or things like that as well, but we won't get too in-depth into it as well. We will, however, get into it in proper detail at the Kildare Strength and Fitness Summit next month of September. Cheap plug. However, I basically take 10% off my daily food intake and put it to the side and say, right, if I fancy something sweet, if I fancy something savory, crisps or biscuits or something like that then as well, I can have them and it's not going to upset the apple cart. It's not going to ruin all my progress. It's not going to ruin all my results. Now, so 10% of just over 2,100, it's about 211 calories. You go, okay, 200, that's a decent number. This 40-gram bar here from a well-known international food chain who don't sponsor me, so it's little. I bought this in little, okay? This is a 40-gram bar. You see, nice and thin, okay? Nice and long. There is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 squares in it that I've just broken up now. That's a 40-gram bar, okay? Let's zoom in there. Can you see it? No, too close. I'll tell you, 226 calories in this little bar. So for me to eat this whole bar would actually put me over my 10% allowance that I have given myself on a daily basis. Okay? Now, oh shit, give me 2 seconds. Now, let's say either I don't fancy having that chocolate, or I don't really want to go over my limit, or I've not got enough room in my budget calorie wise left to eat that without going over. I could have one of these. One of my big favorites at the moment, Kyo's Crisps, pretty nice. This is a 30-gram bag, okay? And in this bag there is 180 calories ish. I'll put the actual numbers in the comment box later on as well. So you can see how this one small bag, okay? And we all know as soon as I open that, you take the air out, it puffs in then as well. So you can see, like, I mean, and I'm 80 kilos, so I have a reasonable amount of kind of wiggle room, kind of calorie intake wise, okay? So, like, and even if, let's say you're on the off chance you're on 3,000 calories, or you're on 2,500 calories a day, and you're like 250, you'll still barely squeeze in this bar. 226, 230 calories, like 230 in it. You'll barely fit that in. And that's why you need to know your numbers. You need to know what is coming in your portions of crisps, chocolate, biscuits. 5.5 rich tea biscuits. I can have 5.5 rich tea biscuits for 211 calories. 5.5, and I did have them earlier on because I measured all these out and I had opened the packet, so I wasn't going to put them back in because I mauled them and man would kill me, so I just ate them all, okay? The 5.5, and that's it. That's me done for the day of my portion. Now, if I choose to have this, bar, that means I need to take 226 calories from somewhere else in my budget. Well, Gav, what would I do if I do go over? Good question. You would take that out of your carbohydrate amounts, okay? So let's go back a little bit here. My daily intake, percentage-wise, is 40% protein, 40% fats. Shit, that doesn't add up. 40% protein, 30% fats, 30% carbohydrates. And this carbohydrate group at the end splits into two. And I do 20% is starchy carbs, so breads, pasta, rice, spuds. And the 10% over here is put aside for sweet or savoury. Now let's say I don't have any chocolate or crisps today. I can put that 10% back in and have a little more rice, a little more potatoes, an extra slice of bread here or there, things like that. Alright, so it shows how quickly it's going to add up, and I'll do a picture post on like potatoes, pasta, rice to show you physically how much you get in a weight. It would probably mean, like, realistically, if you spent, I'd say, a genuine week, 2-week window of weighing and measuring your food and getting a decent idea of how much is in it. Like, I weighed out 100 grams of Lucky Charms earlier on, and it's a phenomenally huge portion. It also happens to be in or around how much I would pour into a bowl whenever I take my fancy, and you're like, Jesus, that's an awful lot. And there's about maybe 380, 400 calories in that bowl, and you're like, that's a lot of calories. That's more than I need from... That's pretty much most of my carbohydrate intake for the day. And you're like, oh, shit. Well, I kind of have spent my budget. And this is, it all comes back to, remember, like, when your parents or your grandparents would give you money and, oh, don't spend it all in the one shop. That's the trick here, folks, is that you don't spend all your calories in the one shop. You don't overspend on your budget. You're aware of how much you have to work with it based on your goal. And the more you do it, the easier it is. I know next time I go to take one of these out from the fridge, that's 226 calories. It's my 10% gone. It's actually 11% of my daily intake. Gone, just like that. It also means then, okay, well, I've made that choice, and again, that's the bit I want you to take away from it. I've made the choice to eat this. So now I can't bitch and moan them when I go, can't have any potatoes today, can't have any rice today. If I've chosen to eat that food, well, then so be it. Now, look, as time goes on, absolutely, you can kind of not manipulate, but you can move around the numbers a little better. I can go kind of like Monday through Friday, saving up all those 10% so that at the weekends you can kind of get a little bit more loose, a little bit more flexible with things then as well. And depending on like your training and things like that, there's other elements. But for the vast majority of us starting out or watching these videos, following our pages, kind of our target audience, basically, for lack of a better word, that's what you need to do, is just to have a better understanding of the basics, to really nail down your foundational structure of your nutrition. And then you can change and modify things as you go along. Imagine the house here behind us, okay? The foundation on the flooring needs to be poured and filled in properly. Then the structure for all of the walls in the house altogether. Then the structure room by room, and then the plan and the framework and the plastering and the painting and the appliances. And they can all change. The appliances, the paint, the layout of the room can all change. But the foundation is always there. We've been in this house since I was born. So that's the guts of 30 years, like, and the foundation has stayed absolutely rock solid the whole way through, not to mention for the family previous who lived here and that. So when you tighten up your foundation, it gives you a platform to then go and build on, you know. And that's not even without talking about kind of having a beer or anything like that then as well. If I went and had hold on. These are two of my new go-tos at the moment. Brewdog's Dead Pony Club and Wicklow Wolf. It's a local. It's not local, it's Irish, obviously. Not the IPA one, the Elevation, way nicer. But again, like, even like them, that would be... It is 500 mils. The calories on these somewhere. Like that would be, poof, in one of them, that's probably about 200, 300 calories gone just like that. So, and before anyone asks, well, what's the best low calorie drink to have on a night out? Know your numbers. If we've the gym's third birthday coming up in September, I'll probably most likely have a couple of drinks. The American football season starts up soon. I'll probably have a beer or two the first game for the Patriots, and maybe weekly we'll see what the story is, okay? If I know on the Sunday I'm going to have a couple of beers watching the match, I'll need to make an allowance for that throughout the week and not overindulge on chocolate and crisps and things like that. And then it all comes back down to being brutally honest, genuinely keeping a food diary, genuinely logging it on MyFitnessPal or any food tracking apps like that. Because you can lie to me face to face all you want. I know you're lying. You know you're lying. The tape will show that you're lying. The scales will show that you're lying. So the sooner you stop buying the bullshit you're trying to sell yourself, the better your results are going to be. That might rub you the wrong way. And if what I've just said has rubbed you the wrong way, that's because you know I'm right. It's that straightforward. Because, and I don't care what you tell me, I care what I see. Show me, and if you can't go, and I was that person a long time ago. If I wasn't able to do the basic steps of writing my food down, of keeping track of it, how the fuck was I supposed to go and do all the harder stuff as time goes on? And now I've gotten to the stage where coaching wise, I'll drill it in like fuck. I'll be like, until I start seeing it on your food diary, I don't believe it was eaten. And even then, you could in theory be like, well, you know, who's to say you're lying? If you're going to go through the effort of writing stuff down, you're probably going to write down the real stuff. And you can even see it yourself as you write it down. Your brain will pick up going, Jesus, we're really kind of out of sync on a few of those things there as well. So that's why you got to know your numbers. That's why you got to face the facts. And I hate to say I told you so, but it's that straightforward. If you put into use what you've just heard in this video, I guarantee you'll see a big change over time. Now, when I say over time, I'm talking 4, 8, 6, 12 weeks. Okay? Because that's the window we're working with here. We're working with a window of longevity here. We're talking about changing habitual stuff. If I wanted people to drop weight near instantly, there's a shit ton of stuff we could do. I don't agree with it morally, because the whole point is that if I died tonight, that the lessons people learned from me coaching-wise can be continued on consistently. As opposed to, you can live a short-term window and then poof, and then it's gone. So we need a little bit. So, and there's no point in me as a coach giving really kind of real tough love, real strict love on people and being a real asshole and being like, oh Jesus, a real ball buster. That's no good. That might get you temporarily over the hump on something, but until you start being ridiculously, refreshingly, realistically, to the point of raw, honest with yourself, nothing me or any other coach on the face of the planet says will change a thing. Until you're at the point where you're going to open your ears and open your eyes and open your mind to accept the fact that, fuck, I have been lying. I do overindulge. I do nibble way too much. I do have 2 or 3 beers more often than I realise. And that's the thing. I'm not trying to beat up on anybody here. I'm not trying to make you feel like shit. I'm trying to make you step back from the situation, open your eyes and see, oh shit, I do overindulge. Because that surprised even me today. 220 calories in this, honestly, not fucking worth it. I would inhale that, and they come in a pack of 5, and I can guarantee you definitely have opened it up as you're walking out a little and had 2 of them before you make the drive home. So that was pretty much it. I hope you found it of some use again. And if anything I said has kind of rubbed you the wrong way, that's because it's what they call triggering. You've heard something and it's rubbed you the wrong way. It's triggered a response in you. And it's most likely, probably, unofficially, 100% triggered you because it pisses you off because you realize, oh, fuck, I'm definitely doing that. And I know that because first-hand experience, when I've done it with my own coaches, when they've said something and called you out on your bullshit, you go, fuck, it's definitely me. I'm definitely the one guilty of doing that then as well. So, folks, know your numbers. And this is, like I said, we'll get into it a little more detail at the summit in September. I've yet to pin a date down for that. It'll probably be middle of the month, somewhere in that region as well. And the whole goal is, like I said, in our Instagram post and the Facebook post on this, is that knowledge... they say knowledge is power, but realistically, knowledge without action is complete and utter shit. It's absolutely useless. So the whole point is, yes, give you the knowledge, but also show you how to take action with it and combine the two together to actually get the results from it. All right, folks, take it easy. God bless. I'll talk to you tomorrow.